As of June 5th, 2025, the Nintendo Switch 2 has finally launched, and with it has come the newest entry in the Mario Kart franchise, Mario Kart World. Retailing at $80, which is controversial to say the least. Though it does also come bundled with the console for a much more reasonable $50. The internet has had a lot to say about the price of this game, but regardless of whether you got it for $50 with the console or $80 by itself, the real question is, how good is it? I'm not going to beat around the bush. Mario Kart World is one of, if not my favorite Mario Kart game, and my love for it starts with the word world in its title. In the past, Mario Kart games were just built around a series of self-contained racetracks that you and your friends would race around until you weren't friends anymore. In World, however, every track is connected together on a large world map, leading to what I consider to be a very unique and exceptionally fun Mario Kart experience. What that large world map means, first and foremost, is the addition of a free roam mode, reminiscent of the Forza Horizon series. Except instead of driving around a representation of Mexico, you're driving around a bizarrely car-centric version of the Mushroom Kingdom. Seriously, does Peach just, periodically overhaul the entire infrastructure of the Mushroom Kingdom for Mario Kart tournaments? Like what they do to cities that the Olympics are hosted in? Or is there just some kind of special Mario Kart continent that they host the Mario GP in every 2 years? The free roam is a huge interconnected world that takes a couple hours to cross if you follow the roads, and is stuffed with all kinds of challenges to play that offer a range of difficulty from extremely easy to downright painful. There are even several collectibles to find that'll take you off the usual paths, and they also serve as practice for tricks like grinding and wall riding. There are also pipes all over the place that'll warp you to different areas, and some will even take you to secret areas that are otherwise inaccessible, as well as spots where you have to find and chase down Nabbit in sequences reminiscent of chasing the egg thieves in Spyro. I've also heard that there's other characters that you can catch, such as Charging Chucks, but I haven't personally found them yet, which makes me wonder what other features of free roam there are that I just haven't stumbled across yet. There's a decent bit to do on the world map, and I also think it's just really cool that all the tracks are interconnected on this one map. It's the first time we've really gotten to see these tracks in relation to one another, and I honestly hope this free roam style continues and is iterated on for the future of Mario Kart games. Free roam is also where you're likely to unlock most of the skins for your characters via food you get from various Yoshis eateries scattered across the map. There are your usual Mario Kart racers such as Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and Waluigi, in addition to a whole bunch of creature characters ranging from Goombas to cows to Piantas. That gives you a total roster of about 50 characters to choose from, and that's not even including the various skins that your main racers can get. But the free roam is just one of the modes that we got with Mario Kart World, and the rest of the game modes are closer to a traditional Mario Kart experience, just with an open world twist, such as the tried and true Grand Prix mode. This mode takes full advantage of the interconnected nature of the tracks. When you choose what cup you want to race in, it shows your path on the world map, and you race that exact path. Instead of just racing around each track like you would in an older Mario Kart game, you start on a track and race to and through each track in turn as you battle it out for the top spot in the rankings. The first several laps see you racing from one track to the next, and the last lap, or last few depending on the size of the track, is the race around the track itself. I absolutely love this change because it adds more variety to the individual races. There's nothing wrong with racing around a track X number of times, but what this does is turns the Mario GP from feeling like a wild go-kart race into feeling like an absolutely chaotic street race. For those who prefer the more traditional tracks, however, you still have the time trial modes and the versus mode. Time trial mode is what you'd expect. You pick a track and race around it trying to beat your best time. There's not a whole lot to change there. The versus mode, however, allows you to create your own customizable Grand Prix of from 3 to 32 races. In this, you can change all kinds of options that you can't in GP mode, such as the difficulty of the racers, the teams, and what kind of items drop, and even how the contest progresses via the course selection. If you choose the open option in the course selection, you're playing classic Mario Kart, where each track, or each connecting road between the tracks, is its own full race. If you select Connected, however, then you're playing Mario Kart World style, where you'll start on a track and then travel to the next track like you do in the GP mode, except where the tournament goes is completely up to you. Mario Kart World also brings back the battle mode, which hasn't changed much. In it, you have your two modes. Balloon Battle, where you try to drive around and hit other racers in order to pop their balloons, and Coin Runners, where you drive around trying to collect the most coins within the time limit. These are both very fun, but it's crazy to me that there's only two modes here, despite there having been several different battle mode game types over the years. It would have been cool for them to have at least included Bomb on Blast or Shine Thief to just add a bit of variety to the mode. And all these modes are, of course, playable with random people online, except for free roam, which is excellent because playing with real people adds a level of chaos that I don't think you can truly get with CPUs. I have personally run into a bit of trouble getting games, and I'm not sure if that's an issue with Nintendo or with my shitty internet, but when I have gotten into games, I've had nothing but fun trying my damnedest to come in first when the world is literally exploding around me. This of course brings me to what I've been saving for last, the final mode I want to talk about in Mario Kart World, Knockout Tour. Knockout Tour is a rally race mode where you race on a set course around the map, and with the end of each lap, more and more racers are eliminated. It starts with 24 racers, and by the last lap, you're down to just the best 4 battling it out for first place, and oh my god, this mode is so good. It takes the entire concept of Mario Kart World and turns it up to an 11 with a chaotic endurance race where if you fall too far behind, there is no chance of catching back up. It ratchets up the stakes because each lap you have to be further and further up the rankings in order to stay in the race, and one string of bad lucks can bring your entire race to an end. It is a fun, intense mode that only serves to heighten the chaos of Mario Kart to unprecedented levels, and I genuinely can't get enough of it, and I hope it remains a mainstay of the series from here on out. Honestly, if Mario Kart World had come out with only Knockout Tour, it would still be one of my favorite Mario Kart games. I like this mode that much. But that all brings me inevitably to that price tag. We were just beginning to grudgingly learn to live with $70 games, and now Nintendo has shot right on ahead by slapping an $80 price tag on this one. And it's not the only game they're doing this with either. Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition is $80 for a 2-year-old game. Mario Kart World is an excellent game, and it's a must-own for anyone that has the Switch 2, but god, I just can't agree with Nintendo's price point here, and that's a really frustrating place to be in. There is the cheaper option of getting this game bundled with your Switch, which is absolutely the smart option if you're able to get your hands on one of the bundles. But that's only going to be available for a limited time, and on top of that, the bundle only offers a digital copy of the game. If you want that physical copy, it's $80 or nothing. I also have a suspicion that this pack-in copy of Mario Kart World is actually a really scummy attempt to inflate the game's sales numbers to justify future $80 games such as the next big Zelda or Mario game. And I find that to be a disturbing possibility because it's absolutely something Nintendo would do. I can in no way prove this suspicion, but back when the original Switch came out, I worried that combining their home consoles and their handhelds into one system would give them the opportunity to justify selling games that would have otherwise been for the 3DS for $40 at a full $60. I think my fear was justified when I look at games like Link's Awakening, the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and Echoes of Wisdom all retailing for $60 despite being products that would have absolutely been on Nintendo's handheld consoles for $40 before the Switch released. Now we're looking at Nintendo putting an $80 price tag on Mario Kart, and it gets me wondering about their goals here. I'm certain they want $80 to be the standard price for games in the future, and I genuinely worry that they'll use their internal sales numbers for Mario Kart to justify that price point to themselves. I am certain that the vast majority of Mario Kart World sales are bundle sales. It's the most reasonable way to get Mario Kart, and if you missed out on the bundle, there are more reasonably priced games that you can buy to break in your new console, such as Cyberpunk, the Bravely Default remake, Deltarune, Split Fiction, and the new Rune Factory game. Not to mention that if you already own Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, their Switch 2 upgrades are free with the online account expansion pass. So I'd be willing to bet that whatever sales of Mario Kart Nintendo makes are going to mostly be that $50 bundled version. But they're going to look no different than the full price sales in their financial reports. And those financial reports will look to, say, stockholders like, oh hey, we can charge $80 for a game, and people will just buy it. Mario Kart World is a fantastic game, easily one of the best Mario Kart games I've ever played. The open world creates a unique spin on every mode that is right down my alley, and Knockout Tour is simply the best Mario Kart mode ever. Sock Bandit and I have been playing it in every spare moment we've had since it came out a few days ago, and we will probably continue to do so for the foreseeable future, at least until Donkey Kong Bonanza steals my attention in a month. But that joy is somewhat marred by a worry about the underhanded business tactics Nintendo appears to be engaging in, and what the future may hold in terms of how much Nintendo is going to try to wring out of their fans. And really, that's what it comes down to, isn't it? A game can be one of my absolute favorite entries in a franchise, only to be marred by the greed of the people who made it, and that really blows. I want Mario Kart World to be a success, and to be the model for Mario Kart games going forward. I just don't want that model to include ever-increasing price tags and potentially underhanded tactics to justify those price tags. And in the end, despite my worry about Nintendo's business practices, I still love this game. It's easily one of my favorite Mario Kart games, and I'm genuinely looking forward to what will be added to the game in the future. If you're planning on getting a Switch 2, I'd recommend getting one of the bundles so you can play this game for yourself at a more reasonable price point. And hopefully, Nintendo will find it in their hearts to get their heads out of their asses and at least trim $10 off the price for the individual copy. But I'm not going to hold my breath. In the end, I think I'm just going to impatiently wait the release of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Until then, have fun.